Most people believe paying off your home is the ultimate financial goal. But what if I told you that could be one of the biggest financial mistakes you ever make? A family gathers in their backyard. There's a barbecue on the grill, kids are running around, and glasses are raised. Laughter fills the air as the father makes an announcement. This week, our house is officially paid off. Everyone cheers. For them, this is the moment of freedom. No more debt. They believe they've won. But just a few miles away, a retired couple sits at their dinner table. They could have paid off their house years ago. But they didn't. And their wealth has quietly doubled since then. Why? Because they understand what most people miss. Paying off your house isn't always the smart move. Sometimes, it's a trap. In this video, you'll learn why many wealthy people refuse to pay off their mortgage, especially after age 50, and how that decision might be the smartest financial move they ever made.
Outdated advice in a new economy.
For decades, the golden rule was simple: pay off your mortgage as fast as you can. And for an entire generation, that advice made perfect sense. Back in the 1980s and 90s, mortgage interest rates were brutal, often between 12 and 18%. Paying off your home early meant saving tens of thousands in interest. It was a no-brainer. But today, the game has changed. Mortgage rates are now historically low, 3, maybe 4%. And while your home equity sits still, other assets, like stocks, index funds, or even high-yield alternatives, are growing at 6, 8, sometimes 10% per year. Still, many people treat their finances using rules from a different era. They aggressively pay off a cheap mortgage in today's economy, thinking they're being responsible. When in reality, they may be leaving thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, on the table. It's like using a typewriter in the age of artificial intelligence. The intention is good. The method is outdated. And that's the hidden cost of following advice that hasn't evolved with the times.
Emotion versus strategy.
The decision to pay off a mortgage early often feels right. And that's the problem: it's based on feeling, not strategy. Many people rush to eliminate their home loan because it gives them peace of mind. They want the security of owning their house outright. They want to sleep better at night. But feelings don't build wealth. Numbers do. Let's say you have $200,000 in home equity. You decide to use that money to fully pay off your mortgage. Emotionally, it feels like a win. But financially, here's what just happened. You just locked up $200,000 in a place that earns you nothing. It doesn't grow. It doesn't generate cash flow. It just sits there, idle. Now imagine instead, you invested that same amount at a 6% annual return. In 10 years, it could grow to over $350,000. That's $150,000 in potential gains, gone. All for the feeling of being debt-free. The truth is, home equity is not the same as having cash. And treating it like a savings account can quietly cost you more than you realize.
The liquidity crisis you never see coming.
Having a paid-off home might feel like financial security. But what most people don't realize is, security without liquidity can quickly become a trap. You might own a $500,000 house, completely debt-free. But if all your wealth is locked inside those walls, what happens when you face a financial emergency? You can't sell a bathroom to pay for a medical bill. You can't cash out a window to cover your child's tuition. And getting a loan on your home, when you're already under stress, is rarely quick or easy. This is the trap most people never see coming. They think they're safe because they're mortgage-free. But in reality, they're house-rich and cash-poor. I've seen this happen too many times. A retired couple pays off their home, thinking they've done the right thing. Then a health crisis hits. Their only option? take out a reverse mortgage, or sell the home they worked so hard to own. They traded flexibility for a feeling. And it cost them dearly.
The hidden tax advantage of a mortgage.
Wealthy individuals don't just keep a mortgage for no reason. They understand how to turn it into a strategic advantage, especially when it comes to taxes and access to capital. Instead of selling their assets when they need cash, they often use a home equity line of credit, also known as a HELOC. This allows them to borrow against the value of their home, without actually giving up ownership or selling anything. And here's the key: borrowed money is not taxable. Let's take a simple example. A father needs $50,000 to help pay for his daughter's wedding. He has two options. He could sell $50,000 worth of stock. But if those assets have grown, he could owe thousands in capital gains taxes. Or, he could take a HELOC against his home. No taxes. No selling. No disrupting his investments. That's the kind of strategy wealthy people use. They don't just build assets. They build access to assets without triggering unnecessary tax burdens.
The inflation advantage no one talks about.
There's an invisible gift that comes with having a mortgage, and most people completely overlook it. That gift is inflation. Here's how it works. When you lock in a fixed-rate mortgage, your monthly payment stays the same, year after year. But everything else around you is rising. Prices go up. Salaries go up. Rents go up. And while inflation eats away at the value of cash, it quietly reduces the real cost of your debt. Your mortgage payment doesn't grow, but your income usually does. Over time, the percentage of your income spent on that fixed payment gets smaller and smaller. Think about it this way: what used to feel like a big monthly burden 10 years ago might feel surprisingly manageable today. That's not just time. That's inflation working in your favor. In some cases, the effective interest rate on a long-term mortgage can drop below 2% when adjusted for inflation. That's cheaper than any loan you'll ever find. Wealthy people understand this. They use long-term, fixed-rate debt as a shield, knowing that inflation will do part of the heavy lifting for them.
The $200,000 mistake that looks responsible.
Meet Sarah. At 55, she receives a large inheritance, $200,000. She faces a decision: should she use that money to pay off the rest of her mortgage, or invest it for long-term growth? Her mortgage still has 10 years left, with a 4% interest rate. If she pays it off today, she'll save about $130,000 in interest. It feels like the smart, responsible move. But what if she invested the money instead, into a diversified portfolio averaging 7% annually? In 10 years, that investment could grow to over $400,000. Even after accounting for her mortgage payments, taxes, and fees, Sarah could walk away with a net gain of more than $550,000. That's a difference of over $200,000. Paying off the mortgage felt safe. But it was the costliest decision she could make. This is the silent price of ignoring opportunity cost. And it's a mistake even smart people make, because it looks responsible on the surface.
How the rich use mortgages strategically.
Wealthy people don't keep mortgages out of ignorance. They keep them because they follow a strategic framework, one designed to maximize growth while minimizing risk. Here's how it works, in 4 simple steps. Step 1. Maintain a fixed interest rate under 4%. If your mortgage rate is too high, refinancing may be the first step. The lower the rate, the more powerful the strategy becomes. Step 2. Invest the difference. Instead of putting extra money toward the mortgage, allocate it into assets that grow, stocks, funds, or cash-flowing alternatives. Let your money work harder than your bricks. Step 3. Keep at least 1 year of mortgage payments in a separate emergency fund. This protects you from volatility or job loss, and ensures peace of mind while your capital stays invested. Step 4. Review the plan annually. Life changes. Markets move. Even the best strategy needs regular adjustments to stay effective. This isn't reckless. It's calculated. And for many, it's the difference between slow stability and accelerated wealth.
House paid off but still not free.
Mike from Chicago did everything by the book. He worked hard. He lived below his means. And by the time he turned 60, his house was completely paid off. No debt. No mortgage. Total freedom, or so he thought. But behind the smile was constant stress. Mike had no savings. No passive income. No flexibility. His wealth was locked inside the walls of his home. When unexpected expenses came, he had no cash. When opportunities appeared, he couldn't take them. He was technically debt-free, but financially stuck. This is the paradox most people never question. They believe that financial freedom means having no debt. But in reality, it means having control. Having options. Being able to move, to adapt, and to make decisions without being trapped by illiquid wealth. You can have a paid-off house and still feel broke. Because true freedom is not about what you owe. It's about what you can access and how fast you can act.
Your mortgage might be your greatest asset.
The real question isn't, can I pay off my mortgage early? It's, should I? Sometimes, what looks safe on the surface can quietly cost you the future you're trying to build. If this video gave you a new way to think about money, tell me in the comments. From 1 to 10, how useful was this for your financial strategy? I read every response. And if you're serious about building long-term wealth, don't stop here. Watch this next, How Billionaires Protect Their Wealth in 2025. It will completely change how you see financial defense. Hit subscribe, turn on the bell, and I'll see you in the next video.